Lately, we haven't been doing as much. It hasn't been easy. We're ready to get back out there.
Living life a day at a time.
Toyo tires will be there,
Take a ride.
taking you where you want to go.
Feeling free, happy and strong. On the road where we belong.
Toyo tires, making tires for your road.
On the road where we belong.
New year, new season, and absolutely no margin for error. Welcome to round 4 of the 2026 Toyo Tires F1600 Championship presented by BIS live from Oulton Park. This place doesn't warm you up, it never has. 11 corners, no chicanes, no forgiveness. Oulton Park is fast, narrow, and brutally honest. If you're quick here, you've earned it. If you're not, there's nowhere to hide. This is proper old school British motorsport. Momentum matters, commitment matters more. You don't bully lap time out of Oulton Park, you carry it corner after corner, hoping the car sticks and the nerve holds. And fittingly, we start the year on land with a dark past. Once the hunting ground of Anne Boleyn, these rolling Cheshire hills were built for the chase. Centuries later, nothing's changed. Only now, it's drivers being hunted by lap time, pressure, and each other. Drop points applied, excuses gone, and championships begin to take shape immediately. Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions for this 4th round of the F1600 Championship season. My name is Reese Garden. Joining me in the commentary box for this round is Morgan Smith, and our usual other guy in the box, Daniel Zippy Salmon, is going to be out there on track today, Mo. So it's going to be interesting to see how he matches up here at what looks to be track with some wet conditions that are on the cards today.
Yeah, I am very excited to see Zippy on track, as well as be here for another week of the BIS Championship. These guys really lay it down here on these tracks, and it's a tight racing here at Oulton Park tonight, so I'm very excited for tonight.
As am I. So I think there's a few things to dissect about the venue that we are racing at today, Mo. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this track we're racing at today?
Absolutely. Welcome to Oulton Park, one of the quickest and most demanding circuits on the calendar. It starts flat out into Old Hall Corner. Brave on entry, precise on exit. Get it right and you're attacking immediately. Get it wrong and you're defending before the lap's even begun. Downhill through Cascades, fast, flowing, and unforgiving. Lift too much and the lap is gone. Then we go down to Island Bend. High speed, heavy load, no room for hesitation. Through Shell Oils, rhythm is everything. Overdrive it and you lose momentum. Stay smooth and the car comes alive. Next up, Hislops into Knickerbrook, downhill, off camber, and always waiting to catch drivers out. This is where the races unravel. Out of Knickerbrook, it's flat and blind over Clay Hill. No mirrors, no second thoughts, just commitment. Finally, Druids Lodge Corner bring you home. Strong exits matter here. Get it wrong and you're vulnerable all the way down the straight. No chicanes, just 11 corners that reward the brave and punish the careless. This is Oulton Park and it demands respect every single lap.
Absolutely does. It's one of the best tracks on iRacing for my money, and it's also part of the free content roster. It's one of the tracks that you get when you sign up for an iRacing subscription at no extra cost. Fantastic, and just one of many incredible tracks that we have raced at this season and are going to race at. We started off the season at Road Atlanta. We had Manise, Broomhead, and Nakatambev taking the win in pro there. Silverstone, Phillip Island, Mexico City. It's basically the first half of the season run and done. We're at Oulton Park this week. We go next round to Zandvoort, where I'm going to be getting behind the wheel, and Motorsport and Brands Hatch to round off the season. Some high-speed, flowing circuits that really test the mettle of drivers in these cars that are quite difficult to drive at the limit, quite difficult to race as well. In terms of the event tonight, Morgan, what have we got on the cards here?
Looks like we have a 7 p.m. Practice with 80 minutes, so these guys have been out on track for quite a while. Into open qualifying, which is 20 minutes, so these guys are going to be able to, see each other and deal with each other on track a little bit during qualifying. We are going to have 3 sprint races total, all 15 minutes long. There is going to be a small 5-minute break before sprint race 3, but we're going to see these guys on track pretty much back to back here in sprint 1 and sprint race 2.
Yeah, we absolutely are. And top 5 grid invert for race 2, top 10 grid invert for race 3. It's going to be fast and frenetic, to be sure. In the championship points now, we've got a few things to talk about. In Pro, the early benchmark has been laid down, and it's a serious one. Out front since Christian Muniz for Brian Graham Racing. 153 points on the board. Calm, calculated, relentlessly effective. Muniz hasn't just led this championship, he's controlled it, and that makes him the man everyone else has to beat. Chasing him down is Clay Morris in the PRP Britannia car. 16 points back and already under pressure to respond. Morris knows this circuit rewards drivers who attack. In the AM Championship, it's a battle between control and pressure. At the top, Alex McLean for PRP Britannia leads the way on 158 points. Calm, consistent, and rarely putting a foot wrong. McLean has been the reference so far. Not flashy, just effective. But the chasing pack is closing. Swindell's sitting second, 20 points back. Neither championship is claimed. There's still a long way to go. Let's see what the second half brings, with PRP Britannia leading the team standings by 80 points over Rust Racing Iron. This is going to be a very interesting round, especially considering that drop rounds have now been applied. So there's no more hiding in these standings. We've got a lot to cover here today. The first of our races is now live, and we can go through the grid. Starting on pole position for the first race of the night, it is Asad Nikadembev. I believe this is his first pole position on lap time ever at BIS. Clay Morris alongside him. Christian Muniz, the championship leader, is going to start on row 2 alongside Daniel Kranefus, with Nicholas Colander and Michael Broomhead, our series administrator, rounding out row number 3. Brady Clapham and Greg Seitz are 7th and 8th, with John Benvalid, also of Lima Racing, starting alongside his teammate Cedric O'Hyan to round out the top 10. Harlan Goulbourne is going to start 11th alongside our very own Daniel Salmon. Zippy going to be starting 12th there. Clovis Girard going to be starting behind him alongside Graham Lobban. Tyler Scaralli and Robert Kobe 15th and 16th, with Liam Constantin in 17th place alongside Alex McLean, the AM Championship leader, starting 18th. Richard Swindell's AM Championship P2 starts 19th alongside Jonathan Picazin, and Matthew Mailman and Paul Casamajor on row number 11. Wyatt Cormier was in the server. He did register, but he hasn't set a time in practice or qualifying. I don't think he's going to be taking it to the start here today. Now, you can see that the track is slightly wet. There was a band of rain that passed over in practice and qualifying, but it has moved away, and so we're going to be looking at a drying racetrack for this first race. It'll be interesting to see what the next couple of races bring as well. Let's get ready then for the start, as the grid timer is now run and done. Asad Nikadembev starting on pole position. This is going to be one of the most important starts of the season for him, as the sun just peeks out from behind the clouds here at Oulton Park. Round 4 of the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship is go. It's a smooth start from Nikadembev, but not a quick one. Clay Morris getting the run on him coming into turn 1, but Nikadembev on the outside, where the grip is in wet conditions, gets it done round the outside, and Morris loses second to Christian Muniz. Championship leader now second as they come into Cascades. And the field has given each other a reasonable amount of room as they find their way around turns 2 and 3. Now it's down to the island hairpin. This is going to be one of the big overtaking opportunities on the lap, but who's going to actually get there first? It's a narrow circuit, Mo, and it looks like the drivers are struggling to give each other that room.
Yeah, a lot less room this week than in previous weeks. I'm actually surprised with how safe the start has been. Reese, given the wet track, so much spray and even puddles in some locations. These guys are really holding it together and doing well.
They are indeed. No chicanes on this layout of Oulton Park. They're going to swing by the first of the chicanes of the Grand Prix layout, flat out down the straight. Having a look at Zippy as he's trying his best to make up a couple of positions here. Is he brave enough to go for the move at Knickerbrook? Not quite. And I think that's a wise decision, because off the track is going one of the Lima Racing cars. That's Cedric O'Hyan, 3 wide across the hill here, and it's incredibly narrow through this section of the circuit. I'm quite impressed that that didn't turn into something worse.
Yeah, you can lose sight of the track in those hills if you're on the wrong line. So well done by Zippy to kind of keep together on the outside there and give everyone room.
That was quite the big slide there. I think that might have been Graham Lobban that was sliding there. Alex McLean getting past him. And a little bit deep into the final corner for a couple of drivers. I think Tyler Scarali and Harlan Goulbourne will be going side by side there in the background behind Salmon, as it looks like McLean is coming into the pit lane. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is there. He's gotten a black flag. I think he might have jumped the start.
That's unfortunate. Hopefully we can get a possible replay on that in the future, but looks like the Lima Racing guys are here holding it together in front of Zippy, not giving him any free draft here, and hopefully they're going to have some good results this week. I know they have been a part of a couple incidents here and there throughout the weeks of 1600, so hopefully the Lima Racing boys get some good results tonight.
Yeah, indeed. Zippy is quite the supporter of Lima Racing, has a bit of their gear that he wears to some of these broadcasts. Checking back in with our top 3, Christian Muniz and Asad Nakadembev still strutting their stuff in second and first respectively, and it looks like a top 3 breakaway with Clay Morris trailing behind them. Daniel Cranifus is another 3 seconds back from these guys, so there's a lot of time to be made up and not much time to do it. It's only 10 laps per race here at Oulton Park, so not much time to make your moves. Muniz thinking about getting the move done here at the end of the lap here, I'd imagine, through Druids, the double apex right. You're really struggling to keep the car pointed straight in wet conditions. Is he brave enough for an outbraking maneuver here? Not quite, but Deer's Leap is very difficult in terms of traction, Morgan. This might be his opportunity on the next lap.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these corners, kind of look like they're there for the taking, but present some challenges, each one independently. And look at this one with puddles on the inside, right where you want to put your right tires on that curb. So looks like Muniz is going to capitalize here and take the position from Nakadembev.
He does indeed. A little bit of a slip for Assad there, the young Carter who has made his move recently into cars. Driving a Spec Racer Ford in recent months. And he's not afraid to stay in the wheel tracks of Christian Muniz here. Slightly wide there for the 295, but in these conditions, that's where the grip is. Obviously, if you have any experience with driving in the rain, you know that the racing line is not the grippiest part when the track is wet. It ends up getting a bit more slick. You want the rougher surface off where the cars usually run. That's where you'll find the grip. And it looks like Assad, for the moment, is looking to get the move done again up the inside here. Slipping up the inside, but has he gone too deep? It's a lovely cutback from Christian Muniz to take the lead of the race back, and that little bit of side-by-side has brought Clay Morris right into the fold.
Yeah, Muniz looking very calculated, on top of his game tonight. Nakadembev's going to have some work cut out for him, and like you said, with only 10 laps a race, we may be dealing with this, the spray and the wet track for most of the evening tonight. So we'll see what kind of lines these guys get used to, and how these puddles, kind of get kicked off the track, and how many laps that's going to take.
Another cutback here from Nakadembev. He might try to go for the inside, but as we saw on the onboard on the previous lap, the puddles on the inside of turn 1 are basically a lake at the apex. Nakadembev's going to have to be careful here not to aquaplane off. He tries up the inside, but Muniz is there and ready to cut right back on him. I think these guys are going to continue this battle for quite some time. Nakadembev searching for every gap that he can. Meanwhile, there's been some problems for Brady Clapham. He had a solo spin ahead of the battle for 5th place, so he's carrying some damage now. He has lost his front nose cone, as you can see, and it looks like the number 43 of Matthew Mailman also with issues. His car seems to be scraping on the ground a little bit. Not entirely sure what the deal is there, but there's battles going on all throughout the field. Not only do we have this one for the top 3 here with Nakadembev back in the lead, but John Benvalid and Greg Sight are fighting for 5th ahead of Michael Broomhead and Nicholas Colander. They are looking to keep this fight going, and Daniel Salmon and Clovis Girard are right there for 9th and 10th as well. It's a huge battle behind this top 3. It'll be interesting to see what the specific order is, but we can't take our eyes off this lead battle at the moment. It's just trading blow for blow between McArdembev and Muniz.
Yeah, I really like the way Muniz is able to set up these lines, kind of predicting and knowing where the puddles are, and he's been able to take advantage of it a couple times. I think McArdembev is going to learn the tricks and settle in and be even more competitive as these laps develop. So hopefully Muniz can, capitalize at the right time later in the race. You never know what Clay Morris is up to back there as well. He's doing a lot of information gathering, a lot of calculating himself. So hopefully he can stay involved for the length of the race and have something to say about the podium spots as well.
Problem for Harland Goulbourn as well, as McArdembev takes the fastest lap of the race. Looks like the high-speed right-hander at the end of the straight has claimed a couple of victims here. Brady Clapham first off, and Harland Goulbourn as well. Goulbourn with some pretty heavy damage to the rear of his car. He speared into the tyre barrier, and there wasn't much to say other than that. He is going to have to try and keep his race going for the meantime, but I think he might have a mechanical black flag, which is a shame. Oh, goodness me, what happened there to Assad McArdembev? That's quite interesting. Actually, he's regained the lead. Wasn't looking at the feed at that particular point in time. Muniz running wide at the fast left-hander, and I'm actually impressed that he kept it on track.
Yeah, he's doing very well. We have had a lot of incidents through the pack here, but a lot of guys have managed to keep it on track. Only a few guys in the pits. Clay Morris may be starting to think about trying to make the most of this position here, as Muniz did show a little bit of struggle there.
Back to this battle I've been talking about for 5th. Seitz is in the orange cone car at the front of it, and Daniel Salmon trying to make the move on Broomhead, makes contact, and Clovis Girard, I think, has been involved in that one as well. Both stopped at the exit of the fastest corner on this track, and Daniel Salmon, old Zippy, is going to get back going again. It appears with minimal damage, but that is far from ideal for our resident lead commentator and our resident league administrator. That's a real shame to see. Oh, just looks like Broomhead lost it. Bit of oversteer on the way into the corner. And Zippy didn't do anything wrong there. Neither did Clovis Girard. They were just innocent victims of all of that.
Yeah, it just looked like a little bit of wiggle on the brakes, and unfortunate to move into Zippies, but not a lot of room on the track here at Oulton Park. So I expect a lot of paint to be traded this evening, and these guys are just getting started.
Yeah, looks like a bit more paint being traded between McArdembev and Muniz for the lead of the race. And Assad has been pressuring Christian the whole time, almost attempting a cutback on the inside of the banked hairpin. Really love the flow of this circuit. This particular layout of Oulton Park dates from the early 1960s or mid-1960s, and it's barely changed at all since, apart from changes to runoff areas and curbs, etc. Oh, so close, almost banging wheels on the exit. McArdembev getting onto the curb, which is incredibly slippery in wet conditions. And that opens up the opportunity for Clay Morris to move through to second, but these corners aren't exactly easy to pass that up the back of the circuit.
Yeah, it looks like Clay Morris may be hoping for one of these guys to make a more drastic mistake than the one we just watched McArdembev make. He seems to kind of be playing it safe even when they do get off pace a little bit and staying behind him. So enjoying his draft and driving safe and, kind of keeping his nose out of trouble.
Indeed. Well, we're coming up to now 4 laps to go for these drivers. And it seems that every single time McArdembev falls back, he finds some way to get back up to the rear of Christian Muniz. Neither of these guys have the fastest lap, though. Clay Morris is the one who has it, 142.2. And well, at the moment, he's not quite able to stay in touch with Muniz and McArdembev. That lap traffic ahead might give him the chance he needs. That is, in fact, Michael Broomhead, who you see in the distance at some point, having come into the pits, gotten some repairs done. He is back out on track, and amazingly staying on the staying on the lead lap, but only just.
You know, earlier in the race, Cedric O'Hyan was racing Danny Salmon there up in 9th and 10th place, and he had dropped back to about 13th place. Something had happened, but with all the mistakes and the big incident we watched for the big battle for 9th place, he's right back up there in 8th place and having a good race. So hopefully that is, you know, a little bit of spark for the evening, and we see some better results out of him in race 2 as well.
Yeah, indeed. Cedric has certainly been working hard in the middle of the field. Brady Clapham, who we saw getting damage earlier, is back down in 17th place and is trying to fight his way back up. Alex McLean, the AM Championship leader, now has Daniel Salmon to work with here. Change for 10th place. Don't forget, the top 5 get inverted for the start of race 2. So we'll need to keep an eye on the battle for 5th as well. John Benvelit and Nicholas Colander are currently fighting for that, as Zippy, it looked like, had a big slide coming through the right-hander. Nakatembev down to a 141.3 for the fastest lap, meanwhile. That's quite the interesting turn of pace. McLean, for the moment, looks to be free of Zippy's charge for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like Muniz is holding his own up front as well. I'm not sure if Nakatembev is playing it safe until the last lap to try to make, you know, the best pass and make the last one that counts. But Muniz has been holding a great pace. I know Nakatembev just got the fastest lap, but big contact.
Oh. Yeah, indeed. A little bit of wheel banging between those two. We also saw that Greg Seitz was running in 5th, but back at the start of his 7th lap, he caught the white line and the curb and had a big slide at turn 3 and went into the wall. So unfortunately, Greg has retired from this race. He'll be starting from the back. And fortunately, it'll be a nice quick turnaround between the races here. We've still got a couple of laps remaining to sort out who's going to take the first win of the night here. Will it be Nakatembev or Muniz from this fight? Will Clay Morris be able to catch back up to them and get himself into this fight? It's an incredible breakaway from our top 3. There's about 7 seconds between Morris and Kranofus, and then it looks to be another 12 seconds or so, 14, 15, 16 seconds back to John Benvelit and Nicholas Colander as the leaders trade spots again coming out of turn 1. Nakatembev will try his best to take the lead back here. A little right-hand kink on the way through turn 2 is enough for him to secure it, but Muniz is getting a little braver, it seems.
Yeah, these guys are putting on an absolute show tonight, really showing us what these cars are capable of on a wet track like this. Both of them have been in the grass once or twice, kept the car together. They're utilizing wet curbs out there. They're going right through the puddles sometimes. So these guys putting on a masterclass tonight on the wet track. It's a pleasure to watch.
All the way to the left through the hairpin. Make use of the banking and the rough surface for a great launch onto the back straight. These guys will be getting the white flag next time by. Not much time to sort this out. Slipstream picked up by Christian Muniz, and the momentum is with him coming down the back straight. It may look like there's a battle forming for 3rd, but I don't think that is the case. That's Brady Clapham in behind Clay Morris there. They've just lapped him as well. The leaders side by side again. Nakatembev once more catching a bit of the white line, and a slight slide means he has to fall back in line behind Muniz.
Yeah, we'll see if he has the pace to capitalize on the last corner here. Going to need to be just a little bit later on the brakes and have a great exit as well, find the most grip possible. Looks like Muniz has put himself in a great spot here to get himself the top step on the podium.
Now, the question is, can Nakatembev pull out an ace from his sleeve on the final lap? It is white flag in the air, and they'll be line astern through the first corner. Still a lot of spray being kicked up by these cars. The track is not drying at any kind of pace here. Nakatembev is carrying some great momentum, though. He's getting the pace. The problem is, I mean, you could go for the move at the hairpin here, but do you want to? You've got an entire straight to work out the slipstream here. And Nakatembev decided to pressure Moniz a little bit. He's clearly carrying more speed through the middle of the corners, but it's all about the exit. Pick up the slipstream. Let's see what you can do, Assad. Can you take the lead here? This is going to be an incredible fight between these two. It's defensive from Moniz. That's going to force Assad wide if he can't clear him in time for the corner. And he won't be able to. Moniz very deep. Nakatembev cutting back underneath him. And now it all comes down to the last couple of corners. Contact between our leaders. Nakatembev is sent off, and Christian Moniz will redress the position, avoiding the ire of race control, and that has gifted Clay Morris the lead of the race on the final lap. A very smart drive from the number 48. All he had to do was sit back and wait for something to happen between our leaders. And he has got P1 coming out of the last corner. Moniz and Nakatembev will try to go side by side for second, but ahead of them it's Clay Morris who takes the first win of the night, and Moniz just beats Assad Nakatembev to the line for second place. Battle's still going on a bit further back. This is for 5th, 6th and 7th. This is for the effective pole for race 2. Nicholas Colander has passed John Benvalid and Tyler Scarali, and that means the Rust Racing number 5 will be starting on pole for the next race.
Absolutely exciting finish up front from Clay Morris there. And a couple more guys to get across the track. Looks like we have Zippy trying to capitalize on the last corner here, trying to follow the Lima Racing driver through on the inside.
Alex McLean, meanwhile, he's trying his best to keep Zippy behind him. Rounding out the last position in the top 10, and that's an incredibly close finish. There's only 0.2 of a second separating those three cars there for 9th, 10th, and 11th. What a fantastic finish between O'Hayan, McLean, and Salmon. And it looks to me like that's the last real battle on the track here. Graham Lobban and Clovis Girard will cross the line. They were on their own trying to make recoveries. And looks like we'll just have to wait here for Jonathan Picazin and Paul Casamager to find their way across the line. Casamager still about 2/3 of the way around the lap at the moment, and well, he's actually had a difficult race. Started in 22nd, and it appears was involved in something further towards the start of the race. Don't forget as well the ticker down at the bottom telling you how to tell the AM and the Pro cars apart. They have red and white number panels for AM and Pro respectively. That's the last car across the line, and well, we will find our way to race 2. Just a quick run through the results before we get online for race number 2. Winning was Clay Morris from Christian Moniz and Assad Nakatembev. Daniel Cranifus taking 4th. Nicholas Colander winning the AM class, and by virtue of finishing 5th, he will start on pole position for race 2. John Benvalid and Tyler Scarali 6th and 7th. Liam Constantin finishing in 8th. A nice quiet race for him, with O'Hayan and McLean rounding out your top 10. Then it was Zippy in 11th. Graham Lobban just behind him. Clovis Girard, last car to finish on the lead lap, finishing where he started in 13th. A lap down for Clapham, Swindells, Seitz, Goulbourne, Broomhead, Picazin, and Casamager, all of them with problems over the course of the race. Matthew Mailman 3 laps down, and Robert Covey retiring, unfortunately, from the race on lap 1. Wyatt Cormier not taking to the start. In terms of the grid for race 2, it's only really the top 5 we need to go through. It's Nicholas Colander up the front alongside Cranifus, then Nakatembev, Moniz, and Morris. They have been flipped from their race 1 result. Just a few seconds remaining on the grid timer, and we're going to have to get things going here pretty quickly. They're about to move away as the revs rise. And the green flag flies. Away we go. Sluggish start in these wet conditions. Nicholas Colander will be immediately under pressure from Cranifus. He'll take the lead into turn 1, but Nakatembev with a lightning start. He's going to go around the outside of Cranifus to take second, and who knows, he might be in the lead by the time they get to turn 3. Let's see how much room Colander gives him. Oh, Nicholas is going to cover him on the way into the corner, and he's certainly got the wet line sorted. He's managed to get the run that he needs to stay in the lead, but the drivers who were battling for the lead in the last race are right on him. Nakadenbev trying to move to the inside.
I like how confident Nicholas Collender is driving out front, not giving Nakadenbev any freebies here. Kind of holding down the fort and, keeping Clay Morris involved as well. A little bit of contact there from Nakadenbev.
Ever so slight, and that's arrested his momentum. It's allowed Christian Muniz to move through into second. They are 3 wide for the lead of the race across the top of the hill. Nicholas Collender is probably stressing out at the moment. Can he win the race into the corner? Well, Nakadenbev's the one on the inside. My God, look at the move from Christian Muniz. What a cutback. That was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely beautifully timed there by Muniz. Driving confident all evening. Wants to get an early start to race 2 here. We'll see if Nakadenbev has anything to answer.
Oh, he might not in the short term. He's run a bit wide out of Druids there, and now he's going to be under pressure from Kranefus for second. Muniz will be doing everything he can to increase this gap and make sure he's under no pressure for the lead. Nakadenbev manages to keep Kranefus behind him. Clay Morris will try to move past Kranefus for the last spot on the podium. While we got a moment, shout out to everyone in the Pit Road Productions YouTube chat, as well as Jake Enns, who is here pretty much every single race. It's good to see you once again, mate. And looks like a bit of a dry line starting to form here. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure the guys are happy to see some dry pavement out there. It does lend towards some more interesting side-by-side with one driver being able to utilize some dry pavement and the other one not. So it's going to make for some exciting passing and some good, risk-reward assessment by these drivers here as they try to make their decisions getting around each other.
Back to the number 15 of Tyler Scarali here, who's found his way into 7th. And this will be quite a battle he's going to be having with John Benvelid and Nicholas Collender. Collender, the man who started on pole for this race, under a lot of pressure from the Britannia iSports number 15 as they come across the top of the hill. Little bit of side-by-side through this fast corner is going to bring everyone back from them into contention. Constantin, McLean and O'Hyan are rounding out the top 10, leading the battle, but into the gravel goes Greg Seitz and Harlan Goulbourne. And it looks like Brady Clapham having troubles there as well. And that's going to be a huge fall down the order for all 3 of them. Oh, my God. What was that? That was Robert Covey. Oh, man. A good friend, Robert Covey. He's having some trouble in these wet conditions. Remember, he retired from race 1, and so he hasn't had much track time in these wet conditions. And it looks like Paul Casser, the Major in the Lima Racing rookie car, is unfortunately going to fall down the order as well, down to 21st place. Back to the battle for the lead. It's the same protagonists we saw in race 1, Mo, but Asad Nakadenbev is apparently getting a bit too leery with those track limits. Yeah, maybe these guys are feeling a little bit confident with the dry line, but those rear tires can give out pretty quick as soon as you move out there back into the wet. I think Christian Muniz is going to play it pretty safe. I don't think these guys are going to want to trade positions for 7-8 laps straight while Clay Morris is right behind him tucked in. So I expect we'll get a few laps out of the positions just as they are. We said at the top of the show that this could be a crucial round for the championship with wet conditions thrown into the mix. This could really be a championship-defining round for Christian Muniz here if he can manage to grab a couple more wins today. He has controlled this championship from the outset, and it is a very good prize that these drivers are racing for. Of course, BIS very well embedded into the real world racing scene in Canada. We run the Radical Canada Cup with the grand prize of a drive with a real-world test, and it is the same here in the F1600s as well, thanks to Britain West Motorsports. The championship winners in both Pro and Am will get a test in Britain West Motorsports' real-world F1600 car, which is going to be a fantastic opportunity to move from the sim to the real world. But I think that's far away from the drivers' minds at the moment as this four-way fight for the lead continues.
I think a reward that good is always at the forefront of these guys' minds. That's what makes them so competitive and come back week after week, put in the practice throughout the week to be ready for every race. And I think a lot of the guys that are here on the sim were little kids that found a liking to cars and always dreamed of having a race car. So the opportunity to get into a real one from some time you spent practicing on your sim is nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah, certainly. And there's plenty of drivers in this field who already do a bit of real-world racing. Christian Muniz being one of them, Asad Nakardimbev another, as Daniel Kranefus watches the two of them trying their best to get back past, or Asad Nakardimbev trying to defend from Clay Morris, rather. Muniz trying to pass Morris. Clay Morris running in second place. The reigning champion of the BIS F3 Championship is Clay Morris. There's been problems further back, though. Looks like John Benvalid has fallen to 10th. I also saw Liam Constantin and Alex McLean with contact into turn 3, both of them getting sent off. Clovis Girard also slow on the circuit at the moment. So it's looking like there's plenty of problems here. Looks like further trouble for Constantin. And the 2410 eSports car appears to have the front right detached from the rest of the car. That looks like heavy contact on the run up to Druids.
Yeah, those control arms and that arrow is all messed up. He may want to bring that into the pits and see what his team can see if his team can do anything for him on that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ride to the pits there. Graham Lobban retiring from the race. Looks like Robert Covey's retired as well. Quite a few drivers having big issues with the conditions here today. Daniel Salmon, though, has been a consistent competitor in the top 10 thus far today. He is there with Michael Broomhead, both of them chasing Cedric O'Hyan. And, well, let's see how much aggression they're going to dole out here. Gently does it coming into the hairpin. And Zippy is unafraid to take the racing line there, but I don't think there's much grip at the moment down low through that hairpin. You want to try and stick to the dry line in these conditions.
I've been out there myself a couple times in the 1600, and I will say Zippy's getting some better results than I have, so it's a pleasure to see Zippy enjoying his race and, getting some good laps in here with Broomhead and O'Hyan.
Never actually seen Zippy's face while he's driving, and this gives you a very good perspective. He's got his Lima Racing cap on, chasing down Cedric O'Hyan of Lima Racing. And we'll see how much room these guys are going to give each other. It looks like Zippy's got the run out of Druids, and here we go. On board with Salmon for the move up the inside into the final corner. But holding the outside, trying to at least, is O'Hyan. He's been sent off, and Zippy's up to 7th.
It's a great move by Zippy. Michael Broomhead able to squeak by as well. We'll see if Broomhead wants to challenge Zippy for that position there for 7th place.
Yeah, Salmon and Broomhead will continue their fight, but they might have a little wrinkle in the action to deal with, because I've checked the weather radar and there is another band of rain on its way. It should be hitting the track in a few minutes. So the last couple of laps of this race, the drivers will be dealing with falling rain, and that dry line that's forming is probably going to be erased.
Oh, as you say that,
right
you spoke it into existence, Reed.
I manifested it. I have the power. Well, 18-degree track temperature. Not much wind to deal with here. But goodness me, this is not going to be good for visibility as the drivers find their way into the closing corners of the lap. Asad Nakardimbev holding on to the lead. Christian Muniz has found his way past Clay Morris, and now it looks like the battle's going to be between the two of them for the race win again. They've learned once from their exploits in race 1 that they can't afford to make contact, otherwise Morris and Kranefus are going to be right there to take the top 2 spots from them. They still have 4 laps left to conduct. Plenty of time to figure out your moves.
Yeah, I anticipate Maniz is going to want to, sort out the final position of the race before the last couple corners there, so that doesn't happen again. I do think with this dry line going away, they're going to want to try to make some of those passes now as they still have access to some dry pavement. Looks like Maniz is doing that as we speak.
Oh, trying, but Asad Nakadembev covers the inside into Cascades and will hold on to the lead on the way down to the island hairpin. Oulton Park Lake is just off to the right of our view there, behind those trees. And the track does a nice curve around the bank of the lake. It's a beautiful flow. And if you can get a lap right around Oulton Park, you can get a lap right around a lot of tracks. This place is bumpy, it's narrow, it's got some incredibly fast corners. It really is a skilled track, is Oulton Park. But slipstream does play a big part in it. The spray gets kicked up again by the drivers here. The track is truly wet once more, no more dry line, and so they're going to have to change their tack a little bit if they want to keep the pace up. Need to avoid those puddles by the edge of the racetrack.
Yeah, the most challenging corner for me, Reese, is always the corner at the end of the back straight there. It's kind of a right-hander. It's a, whoa! Clay Morris with the big incident.
That's massive. Huge snap coming out of Druids for Morris, and it looks like there's some heavy damage on the car as a result. It appears the suspension is actually mostly fine. Hopefully that's worked out okay there for Morris, but whether or not he has a mechanical black flag to his name remains to be seen. He does not. So looks like he's gotten away with that. Still running in 5th place, just ahead of Nicholas Colander. We'll get a replay of that one. Coming into Druids, did he catch a puddle? He might have. Oh, it was only a minor slide, Mo, and actually looks like the contact with the wall was quite lucky.
Yeah, he did fantastic to kind of break momentum before hitting the wall there. Also, those guys up front were putting on such a good pace that even with that incident, he's maintained position 5 here in the race. So I'm sure he's happy to be on track with no damage, and he's going to make the most out of, the points that come along with 5th position still.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be 10th place that will get pole position for race 3 here. So Michael Broomhead currently in the box seat and not under much pressure. He's all on his own. The battle is really with 7th, 8th and 9th. John Benvalid, Daniel Salmon and Cedric O'Hyan. Zippy bookended by the Lima Racing cars, but Broomhead is catching up to them. Now, this is an interesting decision that Broomhead has to make in these last couple of laps. Does he fight for those positions and grab the points, or does he stay in 10th and be guaranteed a front of the grid start for the next race?
In my opinion, looking at this race with only 2 laps left, grabbing some points could be important, especially if you're only moving to 2nd place still on the front row. You may start in 1st place in the final race, but there's also 10 full laps. So I don't know if the guy that you were worried about, giving him more time in the 3rd race to pass you, I think it's going to happen either way. So I'd probably try and capitalize on this race and just worry about this one, and then come back out and try to do what you can for the next one.
Fair enough. Well, this battle will continue, as will the battle for the lead. Maniz had about a second or so to Nakadembev over the course of this lap, but Nakadembev and Kranifus have caught right back up to him, and Nakadembev is now back into the lead of the race. Only by a few tenths of a second, though. It's going to be white flag next time by, and just like in the last race, it's Nakadembev versus Maniz with one outsider, but hello! Across the track almost, a spinning car. That was Paul Casamaja that almost influenced our lead battle.
That would be worst case scenario, Reese. You never know when, a back marker or a bad rejoin can happen. These cars snap and go back and forth, as you just saw with Claymore, so it can be unpredictable, and anything can happen out there on a racetrack when you're racing, and guys show up to kind of, put the visor down and be competitive, so they're not always ready for, maybe a competitor to have a rejoin, and both of these guys going off track, trying to find the limits here as this rain continues to come down, Reese.
Looks like Daniel Kranifus, I heard those tyres screeching. He had a big slide. The Rust Racing Oxide machine has lost touch with our two leaders, but it looks like the battle's not going to be over for them. Casa Major, it looks like, going off again there, unfortunately. And Nicholas Colander also going off, and that has allowed... oh dear, it looks like Zippy's had trouble too at the very same corner. Lots of positions being changed here on the run to the final lap. Christian Muniz had a big slide as well. He's almost lost touch with Nikardenbev. There's a few positions left to decide here as Zippy, unfortunately, goes for a big slide there into Druids. And, well, he's going to recover, but he will be back in 10th, which could be pole position for race 2. We'll have to wait and see. As long as he can keep Clovis Girard behind him, that would be great for Zippy. But these guys fighting for the maximum points of the race. Asad Nikardenbev in front by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, I think Muniz is going to have something to say about this in the last couple laps. This should be very exciting. Or, I'm sorry, in the final lap, Reese.
Yeah, indeed. We just went through a massively heavy patch of rain, and you see how wide they're running through the hairpin. That's basically the only line you can take in these conditions. It's a torrential downpour that has turned the track into a river. Where is the grip? Goodness me. You cannot find it anywhere. There's puddles everywhere you look. How brave do you want to be coming into these fast corners? A little bit of pressure from Muniz. Nikardenbev gets onto the curb, and that's going to lose momentum, and the leaders make contact again. They ping-pong into each other, and Christian Muniz is sent off and into the wall. Nikardenbev, I think, is going to leave him behind there. It's going to be difficult to recover. Christian Muniz might lose second to Daniel Kranifus if he's not careful. He's incredibly slow, and Kranifus will move through into second place. Oh dear, this is not good here for our leader, our former leader, and he's struggling to hold onto the car. The rear suspension is gone, and how many more positions will Muniz lose before the race is done? Morris is now past him, and he's back to 5th. Ahead, Asad Nikardenbev takes the win, but my goodness, that's going to be quite the interesting result to dissect there. Muniz just needs to make his way through the last corner here. And he may have to give up the position to Colander here. He absolutely will. It'll still be a 6th place finish for him in the end. But, oh, how quickly a race can go into the pits.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did not want to happen, Reese. Forgive me, but was that the exact same spot as race 1?
Yeah, basically. It looks like that particular part of the circuit is rather difficult to go through cleanly, especially in these conditions. Oh, all right, so replay of that one, and it was all started with Nikardenbev having that slide off the curb and the white line. I mean, from Muniz's perspective, he was just trying to go for the move there, but Nikardenbev was still sliding and not completely in control of the car. A bit of back and forth between them, and I don't know if you can really blame Assad for that. He was just trying to hold on to the car, but it's a narrow circuit, and there's only so much you can do. So unfortunately, our championship leader, here's the onboard view, will have to settle for a 6th place finish after this. He tried his best to hold on to it, but once he was around, that was all she wrote.
Yeah, Muniz just kind of didn't get the better of that situation there and a little bit of back and forth there. That was the corner I was saying earlier, Reese, was my least favorite one on track. It's just hard to time. Kind of a weird apex on it, in my opinion. Muniz took a great line through there and tried to avoid him, but Nikardenbev just got loose a couple times and wiggled one too many times and came over across the lanes there.
He did indeed. Well, from the second race then, Asad Nikardenbev takes the win, and Daniel Kranifus finishes second. Tyler Scarali rounding out your podium with Clay Morris and Nicholas Colander rounding out the top 5. It's another 5th place finish, an AM-class win for Colander. He's had a great night so far. Muniz, Ohayon, Broomhead, Benvalid, and Clovis Girard rounding out your top 10. Girard will have pole for race 3. Daniel Salmon finishes 11th place. We're going to be having a chat to him in just a few moments' time, with Alex McLean and Greg Seitz finishing 12th and 13th. Richard Swindells and Jonathan Pekazin, the last drivers to finish on the lead lap. Constantin and Casamajor a lap down. 2 laps down for Clapham and Mailman. 3 laps down for Harlan Goulbourne. Graham Lobban and Robert Covey unable to make it to the finish of the race. It's been a brutal time for sure, but there's yet more to come. We've got another race to go through here, and it'll be very interesting to see how they go. We're going to have a quick break with a word from our sponsor, Toyo Tires. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Lately, we haven't been doing as much. It hasn't been easy. We're ready to get back out there.
Living life a day at a time.
Toyo Tires will be there,
Take a ride.
taking you where you want to go.
Feeling free, happy and strong. On the road where we belong.
Toyo Tires, making tires for your road.
On the road where we belong.
A huge thanks to Toyo Tires for their support of this championship. It's been great to have them on board here this season. Just continuing the rise of these sim racing leagues to provide opportunities to get into real world racing. We are joined in the commentary box by the man who's usually leading the shows here, Daniel Zippy Salmon. And it looks like it's been a really brutal night for everybody, Zippy. It seems like no one can escape issues. The track was torrential there in the second half of the race.
Yeah, definitely. It's in the first race, it was, you adjusted to it and it started to improve. Second race got a little bit better again. And then it just kind of fell off a cliff. I'm like, okay, I've got this, guys, get out of the way. I'm quick. And then all of a sudden, I felt my hopes and dreams sliding away from me as I watched the back end overtake the front. And it was just into the, surprisingly didn't get damaged. But I got to say, I'm hoping you guys caught the absolutely fantastic collision I had with Mike Broomhead. We actually make it one apiece now for taking each other out.
Well, we did see you guys making contact in race 1. I don't think we saw the race 2 incident, but if you say fair's fair, then we'll take your word for it, Zippy.
Yeah, I took him out at Watkins Glen once, and he hasn't forgotten.
Oh, true.
So
True. Yes.
Now we're 1-on-1 overall, but I got to say the conditions are absolutely incredible. I could have sworn at one point I was absolutely surrounded by the guys here, Lima Racing. I had John on one side, Cedric on the other, and I kept my foot in it. But wow, the racing is incredible. Honestly, Reese, I hope you guys are having fun. Morgan, thank you for stepping into the booth so I can have some fun on the track. And actually trying to remember who's in the next 1600 race. I have a feeling it might be you, Reese, but don't quote me.
Yes. It is me. I will be getting behind the wheel of the Pit Road Productions car for Zandvoort. And, I think I'll be taking a few pointers from the guys about taking banked hairpins. There's a couple of those at Zandvoort as well. And, we'll let you go, Zippy, and get ready for race 3. It looks like the skies are blue out there now in Sims, so you might have a little more grip available to you.
Well, certainly I'm definitely hoping so, Reese. But not only that, I think for myself, I would do better if it does continue to stay quite wet on the track. Certainly, everybody trains in the dry, but how many people really train in the wet? And myself, with the more relaxed, slow in, fast out driving style, I find the rain is more catered to my kind of, my approach. I have a feeling, if anything, I'm going to struggle more in the rain, but certainly hoping for a few less incidents this time around. Thanks very much, Reese.
And thank you very much for joining us, Zippy. That is Daniel Salmon there, usually in the booth here at Pit Road Productions, but behind the wheel for this round of the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship at Oulton Park. If you're just joining us, I'm Reese Gardner, Morgan Smith alongside me in the commentary box, and Christian Hill pressing all the buttons behind the scenes. This has been a very interesting night of racing, Morgan. We're only a few seconds away from race 3. What are you expecting?
I'm always excited for the third race here at BIS, and the main reason is that reverse grid. Race 2 only having 5 reversed is exciting, but reversing 10 is very exciting. We had talked about Broomhead there on lap 8 or 9, and he actually managed to get up to 7th or 6th place, I believe. So We have some new guys that we weren't really talking about at the end of the race in the back and 9th and 10th there that are going to be starting us. And I'm going to be very excited for the grid to be announced and kind of see what we're working with.
Well, how about right now for a grid read? Because race 3 is live and we can see who's starting on pole. It is going to be Clovis Girard by virtue of finishing 10th in race 2. John Benderlid starting alongside him in the Lima Racing number 8. Michael Broomhead starting alongside Cedric O'Hyan on row number 2. Our championship leader, Christian Moniz, starts in 5th alongside Nicholas Colander, the first of our AM cars. Clay Morris and Tyler Scarali there in 7th and 8th. And the top 10 rounded out by Daniel Kranefus and Assad Nikardembev. A great result for Kranefus in race 2. Let's see how he can go in race 3. Daniel Salmon starting in 11th spot alongside Alex McLean. And we have Greg Seitz starting lucky 13th alongside Richard Swindells. Jonathan Pekazin and Liam Constantin in 15th and 16th, with Paul Casamager and Brady Clapham on row number 9. All these drivers looking to make some kind of recovery in the third and final race. Rounding up the top 20, Matthew Mailman and Harland Goulbourne. Graham Lobban and Robert Covey will round out the field, with Wyatt Cormier still not in the server, and we can call him a non-participant here tonight. Just a couple of seconds remaining before we get things started here. Now, it is a drier circuit, but looking at the info tab, the track is still lightly wet, Morgan, so this might be a difficult one for the drivers.
Yeah, it does look like a little bit better conditions there, especially with the sunshine. We haven't talked too much about Richard Swindells tonight, but he had great results last week, and he finds himself in a good spot here in race 3 behind Alex McLean, the championship leader. So that should be exciting to watch that AM championship battle develop as well.
Absolutely. Swindells has unfortunately missed out on really getting some good results there. But so has Alex McLean. He did finish 10th and 12th so far in these races. But Swindells has been back around 14th and 15th place. So looks like McLean's AM Championship lead may very well extend out of this one. But we'll keep an eye on the front of the field here as Clovis Girard takes us away here for the start of race 3. It's a solid start from all of them. And it looks like Michael Broomhead is going to try his best to get involved in this battle with the top 2. Still plenty of puddles around the racetrack, even though the track is a bit drier than it was at the end of the previous race. And into turn 3 they come. Who's going to come out the other side cleanly? Running wide is Broomhead to get the launch on the drier sequence of the circuit. Clay Morris not far behind him, and Nicholas Colander right with them as well. Assad Nikardembev is going to be working his way up here. He has already made a couple of places up to 8th, but the leaders making their way through the hairpin here. Broomhead is right on the money here in terms of the lines that he's taking.
Yeah, these guys are super close together out there on track, this lead pack. Moniz is trying to find his way through, but really just has no room there. Clay Morris looking to capitalize on the inside in this corner coming up at the end of the straight.
So to the lead for John Benderlid. Michael Broomhead will take second. Round the outside of Clovis Girard. Assad Nikardembev, Clay Morris, and Nicholas Colander are right with them too. Christian Moniz getting involved with Nikardembev. Those two drivers battling for the lead in the previous 2 races. Who's going to come out the other side of Druids? Oh, that's Clovis Girard off, and Nikardembev has found the grass as well. And looks like yet more trouble for Brady Clapham and Jonathan Pekazin. They've both found their way into the grass at Druids as well. So, yeah, honestly, Morgan, I saw them all going into that high-speed corner. I thought surely not all of them are going to make it out.
Absolutely, Reese. I think we've had some great luck this evening with these guys driving safe and having good cornering etiquette, so to speak, respect for one another. They are bound to happen out there. There's a lot of cars on track. These guys are very close together on a very tight track. I think the broadcast makes it look pretty big, but every time we get in a cockpit, you can really tell there's really no room for mistakes out there between the 2 cars.
Yeah, it's an old school circuit through and through is Oulton Park, and that's why it's so loved. Well, John Benvalid out in the lead by 0.7 of a second as Tyler Scarali is the next driver to have problems, and that's Nakadenbev going off in the background there. Oh man, he was right in the thick of it in the incident at Druids, and now he's had further problems at the start of the next lap. That, I think, is definitely going to deserve a replay because, my lord, that was tough.
I appreciate the driver cam here on Nakadenbev keeping his cool, keeping his head down, and just trying to get back in it here with a safe rejoin, so good decision making as well.
Yeah, it looks to me like he was running side by side with Harlan Goulbourne, but a car going off ahead of them, Tyler Scarali. This is, there's Scarali there, and Nakadenbev gets hit. It was a bit of avoiding action being taken by Goulbourne, and unfortunately, he made contact with the left rear of Nakadenbev, sending the young Uzbekistan heritage driver airborne ever so briefly on the way into the hairpin.
Scarali not faring too well himself there. Looked like he may have gotten into the wall.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, it seems these cars are sometimes tougher than they look, and Nakadenbev has managed to continue on at a reasonable pace. Back to the lead, though. Benvalid, Morris, and Moniz are your top three. And Clay Morris is the only driver to have actually had a somewhat clean night so far. He's managed to get a first and a fourth out of the running thus far tonight. And he could be going for a second win here, which could be a great points haul to start off the second half of the season for him. But John Benvalid, I mean, the first time I raced with these guys last season at Bathurst, I was trying to pass John Benvalid for a few laps, and he was really tough to make his way past. He is going to defend like a dog at every single corner, and he's trying. It's working. He's managed to stay alongside Clay Morris, but the run up the hill belongs to the number 48. Now Christian Moniz is going to try around the outside of Druids. No, he's going to back out of it, and John Benvalid will stay in second. This is a really tight fight, and Broomhead and Cranefus aren't too far behind.
You got to wonder with that tough finish at race 2 for Moniz, how much more cautious he's going to be with picking his time to attack and you know, when to back off and give these guys a little more space maybe than the past 2 races.
Good battles happening all throughout the field here. Cranefus and Broomhead almost side by side into turn 1 as the leaders continue to strut their stuff here. It looks like there's been a problem for Nicholas Colander. He was fighting with Cedric O'Hyan for 6th overall and the AM class lead, but he's fallen back to 10th, and now Greg Seitz has made his way up to 6th. Evidently, Nakadenbev's car is not damaged at all because he's just taken the fastest lap there down in 12th. So through the hairpin and out once more onto the back stretch. Lots of slipstream to be had here, but Morris and Moniz have been around each other a lot tonight. Looks like a bit of weaving or a little side to side running happening for Christian Moniz there. Maybe trying to get a bit more heat into the tyres down the straight. That's a very important thing to do. Slight slide for Clay Morris. And he's losing momentum up the hill, but there's not much Moniz can do going into Druids. We'll have to wait for another opportunity at the next braking zone.
Yeah, Reese, this is just a prediction, but like myself, I do not have the right setting on, and when you do not have the right setting on, if you let go of the wheel at all, it starts to go back and forth very quickly, and can result in plenty of action from the car. So, you know, maybe taking a sip of water on the straight, checking out the phone, whatever it is, you let go of that sim wheel for just a little bit, and it's kind of an escalating thing once it happens, a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, hardware oscillation, so to speak. That may well be what happened, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, here's Greg Seitz, Cedric O'Hyan, and Alex McLean heading the battle for 6th place, and looks like O'Hyan is doing a little bit of lawn mowing on the exit of Old Hall Corner at turn 1. And now it's McLean's turn to have a little mistake on the way into Cascades. Let's O'Hyan back by. Nicholas Colander and Liam Constantine not too far behind. This is going to be a very interesting battle for 6th place if all of these drivers can stay in it. And they'll have to worry, I think, in a few laps about Asad Nikardembev, because he is lapping 2 seconds faster than the drivers at the rear of this pack.
That's unbelievable. Not much to say there, but we know Asad Nikardembev, as you said before, drives in real life as well. Really bringing the skill tonight, and the difference is showing with the increased risk that these track conditions bring.
Indeed. Well, can Alex McLean, the AM Championship leader, make his way past O'Hyan to take the AM class lead for the first time tonight? Nicholas Colander has taken the AM class win in the first 2 races, and he's a bit too far back to really be an influence on this at the moment. But if we've learned anything from the first 2 races tonight, that's that mistakes can happen, and that just happened for Liam Constantine. That's a freebie for Nicholas Colander.
Yeah, a whole bunch of guys getting through there on Constantine. As we've seen many a times, the car's a little bit tougher than anticipated, and he's able to, kind of piece it together and get back on track. So maybe be able to make up another spot or 2 here. He's got plenty of time, 4 laps left.
Yeah, indeed. Well, the space is starting to increase between these drivers for 6th. Greg Seitz nice and consistent here, and looking for his first good result of the evening. Seitz has had a lot of trouble with that car here today. A 16th and a 13th so far tonight, and if he can finish in the top 6 for this one, it'll be a nice turnaround for the Rust Racing number 74. Alex McLean, part of Britannia iSports here, chasing down Cedric O'Hyan of Lima Racing. And now the slipstream will be picked up once more. What kind of opportunity will there be at the end of the straight here for the number 69? Keep an eye out for Nikardembev to become a part of this battle in the next couple of laps, I think. With him lapping 2 seconds faster than these guys and being about 5 seconds back from them, he should be on them or near them by the end of lap 8, I would imagine.
Yeah, just since you took over on this lap, Reese, I've seen him make up 5 to 8 tenths already. So he's absolutely flying out there, and we'll see him catch up to these guys hopefully in just a lap or 2. O'Hyan is doing well to hold off McLean here, but we've seen some good results in the 1600s from McLean, and I anticipate him to put up a good battle all the way to the finish line here for this spot.
Indeed. McLean having a little look at O'Hyan coming into turn 1, and now they've lost touch with Greg Seitz. He's now a second or more ahead of them. So it's going to be difficult for them to catch that back up as long as they don't get involved with each other. Speaking of getting involved with each other, here's our top 2. Clay Morris and Christian Muniz. They have been basically flying in formation at the front of this field for quite some time. And Morris seems to be a lot more comfortable with taking that outside line through the hairpin. Muniz has the fastest lap officially. Clay Morris technically running a 138.9, which would have been the fastest lap, but he got an off track somewhere around it, so it doesn't officially count. Regardless, what that does tell me, Mo, is that these guys are incredibly well matched on pace.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen him trading positions all night. Clay Morris really playing the tactics this evening with the, it can be a long battle watching guys drive in front of you, kind of a second behind him for 9 laps straight and just hoping on that last lap that something happens. But his bet paid off, and he's gotten some great results tonight, and he finds himself in another good spot here for a podium on the last race. Ben Willett, unfortunately, seems to be finding some minor errors here and there and is falling a little bit behind these guys, but still has a good gap to Carnifest and Broomhead.
Yeah, indeed he does. Comparing lap times, well, the fastest lap does stay with Christian Muniz, a 138.7, and that's Clay Morris having trouble at the exit of turn 1 again, but Muniz can't find a way past. They got 4 laps remaining at the moment. No, 3. And, well, you know what? It happened again. That particular straight, Morgan, doesn't strike me as one where you would let go of the wheels. So I think Manise might be doing that on purpose.
Yeah, he also was just backing off a little bit there, was not trying to capitalize on Clay Morris's mistake. So may just be having a little bit of fun, trying to cure the boredom as laps take off.
So for the moment, the slipstream kicks in once again, but have a look at that. Manise backing out of a move. Obviously now he knows that it's just between himself and Clay for the win. Cranefus and Benvalid are 2.5 seconds or so behind them, so they're not a factor in this fight right now. Manise can afford to take his time here. It's a little bit of a narrower line through Druids. It doesn't look like that's granted him a huge amount of momentum, but Clay Morris is going to stick it in the middle of the road there to prevent him from getting past. I get the feeling, though, Christian is just biding his time here.
Yeah, it does look like that. Looks like he is taking in as much information as he can on Clay Morris here and trying to figure out what corner he's going to make his move on here in the final couple laps. There is a little bit of dry pavement out there here and there, Reese, and these guys are still kind of sending it right through the wet track, so the grip must feel this pretty similar to these guys out on track. They're kind of just using as much of the track as they can.
Yeah, they are indeed. Is he going to do it again here? A little bump draft, hitting the gearbox of Clay Morris, but Manise doesn't do his weavy thingamajig that we've seen him do a couple of times here. 2 laps remaining, and he's really nailing the exit of the hairpin there. Cranefus versus Benvalid here for the last spot on the podium, and doesn't look like there's going to be much of a change between them here, but all it takes is one mistake and he'll be right back in it. Thus far, the wins have gone to Clay Morris and Assad Nikadambev. Manise, despite having the pace to win all 3 races tonight, has yet to actually get it. So this could be a great opportunity for him. And by the same token, if Morris and Manise come together, Cranefus and Benvalid will have a massive points haul to come out of tonight's racing. But the white flag is in the air in the flag stand, and Clay Morris and Christian Manise will find their way out of the final corner to begin the last lap of the evening here, round 4 of the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship at Oulton Park, and they are nose to tail on the way into turn 1. Which of them is going to come away with it?
Daniel Cranefus is absolutely charging there in P3. He was looking at the back of Ben Willett for multiple laps there and has really put in a good effort to make the pass, and we're going to see him try to clinch that final spot on the podium there and keep Ben Willett behind him.
Assad Nikadambev takes the fastest lap, a 138.6. He's been unable to really catch up to Seitz, McLean and O'Hyan, but he won't be too far away from getting on the back of them on the final lap. Bit of gravel being flicked onto the circuit at the hairpin there. It looks like someone had an off, but that's not going to pay any mind for Clay Morris and Christian Manise. Slipstream kicks in once again, and Morris sticks to the right side of the circuit. Here's where Clay Morris has the opportunity. He's ahead, coming into the corner. Is he going to take the lead here, or will Clay Morris fight him to the very end? Contact at the apex, but this time Manise holds on, and he has the lead on the run up the hill. There's still another opportunity for Clay Morris to get back past, though, and that is at the final corner. A narrow line into Druids for Manise. This could give Morris the momentum he needs. Pick up a tiny bit of slipstream, fling it up the inside. That's all you can do. The inside is covered, though, by Christian Manise on the racing line. Morris is going to try around the outside of the final corner to take victory here, and it's going to be a drag race to the line. Slight blend to the left, and Morris gets the momentum. He has the shorter line, and he takes the win in race 3.
Unbelievable drive by Clay Morris, Reese. I'm sure Manise is still happy with his P2 after the incidents he had tonight, but also a close battle with Cranefus and Ben Willett behind them for the final spot in the podium.
Yeah, Ben Willett and Cranefus finishing half a second apart. Further back, Tyler Scarali, Richard Swindells, and Daniel Zippy Salmon. This is going to be an interesting one for sure. There's my face on Richard Swindell's car, and he's going to bring it home. Lucky 13th as a result. Zippy catching right back up to them at the very end of the race. That was a very tight battle between the three of them, and that's the last major battle on the track. Wow, okay, full view. Thanks very much, guys. I wonder if that was intentional. God. Oh, dear.
A lot of great paint schemes on track, Reese. Nothing to see here. Just another one of the bunch of the great paint schemes we have tonight.
Absolutely. Well, Swindell's will make his way off the circuit. Clay Morris is celebrating his victory as Paul Casamayor once again will be the final car to see the checkered flag. It's been a rough one for the Lima Racing rookie driver, but I think getting to the finish alone is an achievement in and of itself in conditions like this. So that's going to be your field sorted, and we can go through our final results. Presently, Clay Morris, with 2 wins on the board plus a 4th, is going to be our round winner, I believe, with Christian Muniz and John Benvalid rounding out your podium in the final race of the night. Daniel Cranifus and Michael Broomhead round out the top 5, with Greg Seitz in 6th place, Alex McLean taking the AM class victory in 7th overall, and Cedric O'Hyan finishing 2nd in AM, with Asad Nakadenbev and Nicholas Colander rounding out the top 10. It was a great night for Nicholas, and podium in all 3 races. Liam Constantin finishes in 11th place, which is as close as he's gotten to his initial starting spot of 8th in race 1. His initial finish of 8th in race 1, sorry. Tyler Scarali in 12th spot, with Richard Swindells and Daniel Salmon battling to the line for 13th. Graham Lobban finishes 16th, with Mailman, Picazen and Casamayor the last cars to see the finish, and Harlan Goulbourne the last car on the lead lap in 19th place. Clovis Girard and Brady Clapham unfortunately retiring from the race, with Robert Covey not taking to the start. It was not a good night for our bearded friend in the number 72, but now it's time for chats with our drivers. And looks like the first driver to join us is going to be Christian Muniz, coming into this round as the championship leader. Christian, it was really tough. Both Assad and Clay were pressuring you the whole way, and it seems none of you were afraid to get your elbows out at times.
Exactly. With the rain and just the changing conditions constantly, it made for such a fun race on my end. Like the first time, it was like just have at her. So me and Assad were going back and forth for like almost the entire race, with Clay right behind us. And then unfortunate contact again. I did catch the water, and then what happened to me the first race happened to Assad, just a little bit of an extreme version, and I got the unlucky side. No fault to him though. Like I had the exact same thing happen to me the race before, so I totally understood. And then the last race here, it was like there's no way for me to pull away from Clay, and then vice versa. So it was just whoever could make the better last lap pass. So I figured that on the last lap I could try and do the outside move into the right-hander there, and it did work. But he definitely got me by surprise around the outside in the last corner there. So props to him.
Well, you come out of this round without a win to your name at Oulton Park, but still should be getting enough points to maintain the lead of the championship. We're going to Zandvoort for the next round of the championship, and I don't know, in some ways it's a similar circuit to Oulton Park, but in many ways it's completely different. You'll have a little bit more space to make those moves.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to that round as well. It'll be a fun one.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Christian, on getting second in races 1 and 3. Race 2, not quite going to plan, but still a solid points haul to maintain the lead. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys very much. Have a good day.
Christian Muniz will come out of this round somewhat happy with how things have gone down. We are now joined by Clay Morris in the number 48, who took the win in races 1 and 3 today. honestly, Clay, it seemed like you were just getting into the rhythm in race one as Moniz and Nakadembev battled for the lead, but it just came to you and you were able to maintain that momentum for the rest of the night. How was it from your perspective?
It was a stressful night. I am very uncomfortable in the rain. And first race, I was just staying behind those two, hoping they make a mistake. I was falling back when they were getting clean laps in. The only time I caught was when they were side by side. I have to say, Christian, I think, is too nice for his own good. I don't know if you caught it on broadcast, but when that incident happened race one between him and Assad, he could have kept going. Christian had no damage. He wasn't slow at all. He broke to let Assad back by because I guess he felt he caused the incident, but I have to say, that's class act from Christian there.
Yeah, we did notice that on the broadcast. I suppose he can afford to give up a few points here and there, being in the lead of the championship like he is. But he might have a couple of challenges here with you taking 2 wins tonight. Second half of the season, still a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Christian's just such a smart driver. He does not make mistakes often. So I'm just going to do my best and hope I can make up the gap in the championship.
Indeed. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Clay. Hopefully we're chatting to you again at Zandvoort.
Thanks, Reese.
Number 48, Clay Morris. Races 1 and 3 going to him. And we'll switch classes here because we have got another special guest to round us out here in the commentary box. Nicholas Colander in the number 5, taking the AM win and a 5th place overall in the first 2 races. Nicholas, you must be happy with how tonight has gone.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, something's clicking. It's good times. Apparently, I'm like, Lewis Hamilton in the rain. I don't know, but good times. Pretty clean driving, believe it or not, even though it was like ice out there sometimes. And mentally, I'm just shot. But huge shout out to Clay on the dub, our newest Rust member, and to Dan as well. Everybody kicking butt tonight. Oh, and clean, nice racing with John as well. Just good times all around.
Yeah, it looked like you were getting right into the thick of the action, and you also earned a pole position for race 2 by virtue of finishing 5th in race 1. It must have been nice to have no spray in front of you for at least a couple of corners.
Oddly enough, it was like uncomfortable because it was just drastically different from what we normally would see. But I realized that I could either just end up in the wall or let these faster guys go through and just try to manage the race, which is exactly what happened.
Well, manage it you did, and you managed to grab yourself 2 5th places and a 10th today. Great results, Nicholas, and hopefully the momentum continues when we go to the Netherlands in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, for sure. I'm coming for next. See you guys next week or next 2 weeks. I appreciate what you guys do for all of us.
And we appreciate you coming in, Nicholas. That's Nicholas Colander there from Rust Racing, taking 2 of the AM wins today. And well, I suppose that might just round things off unless we have anyone else that we want to talk to. It's been an incredible night of racing, and honestly, Morgan, I can't wait for Zandvoort. It has been fantastic to have this series come back in the new year. I won't be in the commentary box. I believe you'll be in here with Zippy, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to have a couple of pokes at me in my driving.
Oh, there's no need for that. I was the one in the car at Mexico, and I remember a certain wall on turn 1 collecting a large assortment of paint colors from our 1600s that race, mine included a couple times. So I will not judge anyone behind the wheel, especially competing with these guys here at BIS. It's tough racing out there, and you can't take it for granted. I'm sure these guys all get a lot of practice in. They're going to bring the heat at Zandvoort as well. So I'm excited to be there and excited to see you and what you can do on the track.
Yeah, well, we're going to be focusing largely on the drivers at the front of this field, though, the full-time competitors in this series. Clay Morris showing that he can absolutely take it to Christian Moniz and Assad Nakadembev at the front of this field tonight. The next race at Zandvoort is going to bring things to the fore in quite a crazy way, I'm sure. Plenty of slipstreaming possible down that front straight, and if rain is a factor, then we're going to be seeing some incredible alternate lines like we saw here at Oulton Park today. But for the moment, we want to say a huge thanks to the crew at BIS Sim Leagues for putting this series together, to Toyo Tires for coming on board the title sponsorship of this series. There's plenty of fantastic racing to be had here. Radical Cup Canada is going to be returning again next week, so we hope to see you all there for that. I'm Reese Gardner, Morgan Smith alongside me in the comms box. We're Pit Road Productions with Christian Hill behind the scenes. We'll see you all next time.
Lately, we haven't been doing as much. It hasn't been easy. We're ready to get back out there.
Living life a day at a time.
Toyo Tires will be there,
Take a ride.
taking you where you want to go.
Feeling free, happy and strong. On the road where we belong.
Toyo Tires, making tires for your road.
On the road where we belong.
Lately, we haven't been doing as much.